Welcome back everybody, Unit 7, Finding a Spouse. We have come to the end of our unit, which is Focus on Writing. So if you can open your textbook, let's go to Focus on Writing, which is on page 165. It is going to be a review of the vocabulary that we have learned throughout this unit. So let's do that first. Read the paragraph about traditional courtship. Then decide if the sentences are related to courtship, which then refers to the C, the wedding ceremony, W, or married life, M, and mark them appropriately. Okay, so let's read this part first together. Courtship refers to the period of time when a man and a woman get to know each other before marriage. In some cultures, they spend time together alone. In other cultures, they spend time together with friends and relatives. During this time, a couple may decide whether or not to marry, or the decision is made for them by parents. We don't really use that word anymore, courting a girl, but yeah, in the old days, they did. Okay, so you are going to write either a C for courtship, W for wedding, and M for married life. Which does the sentence refer to? You're going to answer numbers 1 until 13. Go ahead, you can pause your video. Great, that brings us to expanding. Okay, we have a chart here. I want you to read the chart, then analyze the relationships between the vocabulary words given below. So we have the categories synonym, S, antonym, A, cause and effect, C, E, degree, D. And then we've got the definition. So the synonyms are the words that have a similar meaning, right? Different word but similar meaning. Antonyms, different word and have an opposite meaning. Cause and effect is one word is the result of another word, and degree is one word has a stronger meaning than the other. An example of a synonym: mistake, error. An example of an antonym: modern, traditional. An example of cause and effect: mistakes result into experience. Degree, different, unique. Yeah. So with the degree, the other word has just a stronger meaning. Okay, so what are we going to do? I want you to look at the words and figure out whether it's a synonym, antonym, cause and effect, or degree. And I want you to note what it means. So you circle the word that best completes each comparison. Okay, and then you write down either an S, A, C, E, or D. Number 1 is done for you, so let's look at that. Characteristics are features, which means it's a synonym, right? And it means make, produce. So make, a synonym of make would be produce. So you're going to look at the bold-faced first, what it is. And then you're going to make the same with the word that is not in bold. Awesome. You're going to do numbers 2 until 10. Go ahead. This straightaway reviews on what a synonym is, antonym, cause and effect, and degree. And we've been talking about that throughout the unit. Yeah. So in creating, we see here describe 5 different marriage traditions in your culture. Right, we've got here arranged marriage, attracted to, background, characteristics, custom, engagement, everlasting, faithfully, fertility, leadership, modern, monogamy, romantic, shocked, spouse, traditional. I'd like you to come up with 5 different sentences that you can make using the words in the box. So once we meet each other in our class or through Zoom, we can discuss the sentences that you created. Awesome, very good. Pause your video and write those sentences. That brings us to the grammar. Today we're going to talk about definite and indefinite articles. This is very important. Many of you make a lot of mistakes in that. The definite article being the and the indefinite article being a or un. And there's often a lot of confusion with that. Now, before we really dive into that, we're going to look at this passage from Finding a Spouse. And I'd like you to underline the definite articles, the, and I'd like you to circle the indefinite articles or un. Go ahead. So when you use the definite article the, you are referring to a specific person, a specific thing that you have in mind. The group's first leader, Joseph Smith, believed in polygamy. The group's first leader. You can use the before singular count nouns, plural count nouns, and non-count nouns, because the can be used for singular and plural. For example, as the Mormon church grew, many of the men followed Smith's teaching and married a number of wives. So here, the definite article the is used in the singular Mormon church and the plural men form. It is different though with the indefinite articles un. Those can only be used for singular. Yeah? You do not have a specific person, place, or thing in your mind. It can be any person, anything, any place. For instance, he began it as an experiment of a different way of living. Another thing is use the indefinite article un before words that begin with vowel sounds. So remember, with the vowels or the vowel sound, you have to use un. For the ones that start with a consonant, you would use a. Use the indefinite article a the first time you mention a person, a place, or thing, such as some Bavarian people of southern Germany once had a windowing custom that yada yada yada. Then use the definite article the when you refer to that same thing again. And the widowing custom allowed them to prove their fertility to others in the community. So you see here that you have a combination. First, we use the indefinite article a or the first time we mentioned it. In second time, we use the definite article the because we're referring back to something we have already stated. Use the definite article the in forming the superlative of an adjective. So, for instance, Noyes decided that group marriage was the best way for men and women to live together. The best way. So, the superlative in this case uses the definite article the. And you can hear that there is an emphasis on it, yeah? Great, great, great. Now, here we have a paragraph, and of course, you got to fill it out. With the definite article, fill it out, complete it with the definite article the or the indefinite article or un, depending on the sentence. Planning a wedding. Okay, so that has 10 numbers. Go ahead, pause your video and answer this. Then we're going to dive in a little bit more. Here we have 4 statements. I want you to read them. 1, I went to a wedding last week. 2, the bride carried beautiful roses. 4, the groom wore a black hat. And 4, the hat reminded me of one I'd seen in movies. Pay special attention to the bold-faced phrases, and I'd like you to circle the correct explanation of its meaning. Okay? The correct explanation of the meaning of the bold-faced word or phrase. Yes? Okay. Do that first. Okay, guys, remember that the is used in the plural form and the singular, but if you use the indefinite articles or on, can only be for singular. So 1, yeah? Very important. Great. That brings us actually to your final project, right? Your writing project, which you write in your journal. and you're writing an essay about the characteristics that you think are important in a spouse or partner. I'm excited to read that. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I want to go through these pages for just a bit to make sure that you understand. We always prepare to write by doing our brainstorming, remember? Now, this brainstorm can be done by categorizing. It's a way of organizing your ideas by putting them into logical groups, like bigger groups, and then more specific, smaller groups, and so on. It can help you to figure out what you want to talk about and in what, and just know how your ideas can be placed. So you could do that. Choose characteristics from the list in exercise 1. And then you could start off by writing your outline. But before you do that, it is important that you research first. So really the first step is brainstorming. In this case, it's directs you to do categorizing. You can do a pyramid, you can do free writing, you can do just an outline, a list making a list, mind map, whatever you want. But you could also follow this by categorizing. When you've gotten your ideas, you're going to do research. You're going to read. Okay, research means reading. So you're going to look for sources to back up every idea that you came up with. And probably you will add some new ideas as well while you are researching. Remember when you're doing that to always write down, the source. So it's smart to straight away just put that in a file, in a document with the link, so it's easy for you to make your bibliography in your journal, because you've got everything already there. Yeah, this is an example of a point-by-point paragraph. But a point-by-point paragraph, the points or the ideas that you place in your writing are discussed one by one, and mostly a point-by-point follows the purpose. Yeah. Yeah. So each paragraph will then describe one category or group of characteristics that are important in a spouse or partner. For instance, you can write about personality, background, education, and then you discuss the characteristics in each category one by one. So when you do point by point, you're more focused on the subtopics that you're using. Whereas when you do a block organization, which we also have, you're more focused on the purpose. So a point by point is really, for example, the first body paragraph is about personality. And then let's say the second body paragraph is about background. And then the third is about education. So you really divide it that way. Awesome beans. Okay, now these are 4 questions I'd like you to answer. What is the topic sentence? Underline it. What category is discussed in the paragraph? What characteristics are included in that category? And what reasons does the writer give for choosing each characteristics? Yeah, I'd like you to answer this to just analyze what the structure is like in this paragraph, because you will have to use the same structure in every body paragraph that you will write for your essay, okay? Pause your video. Go ahead. In a point-by-point organization, some points may be more important than others, so just place the most important points first and then go, less important, least important, like that. And use transition words to show the degree of importance and also the connection. So from the first body to the second body, use a transition. From the second to the third, use a transition into the concluding paragraph. But of course, this depends on how many paragraphs you're going to write. Notice the transition words, most importantly, also and finally, that introduce each characteristics. Now, which characteristic is most important to the writer? So you have to go back to the paragraph on page 170. Please answer that question. Look back at your list of categories and characteristics in Prepare to Write. That was on page 170. Number the characteristics in each category by order of importance. That means the most important comes first, and then less important, less important, less important, least important. That is important for you to use as the organizational structure for your essay. That's how you will divide your ideas. Okay, when you have done your research and you got all your links and information, remember that for your bibliography that you have to write it in the MLA style. So you have to put it in with alphabetical order. You always start with the surname, the family name, not the first name. So remember to do that in alphabetical order. Also remember to add the date that it was published or uploaded and the date that you accessed it, okay? So then you can start making your outline, thinking about your introductory paragraph, 2 or 3 body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph. And remember to use the outline that is in your journal. Yeah, if you've done your outline and you check it and you go like, okay, this is good. I've got everything in it. The order of importance is clear. My ideas are complete. Then you write your essay, and when you do, follow your outline while you write your essay, okay? So your outline should not have complete sentences. It can just be, phrases, clauses, signs, symbols, make it short, and just see that you place your ideas in the right spot. Okay, and then you write your essay following your outline, and after you've done that, you take some time to revise it, to edit it, make sure that you're good on spelling, grammar, punctuation, all that, and no repetition of words. Look at these paragraphs about marriage. Can you identify what makes them cohesive? What makes these paragraphs cohesive? Cohesive is the unity of ideas on a sentence level. So within the sentence, it's really coming together. Now, cohesion means that you connect your ideas. So basically you connect your main point 1 to your main point 2 to your main point 3 by using cohesive devices, which we can also call transition words or linkers. Writers use related word forms to gain more cohesion. So in paragraph 1, the ideas fit together clearly because the writer uses such related word forms as religion and religious, unmarried and marriage. And in paragraph 2, some related word forms are marriage, married, marry. And there are also many repetitions of the word Mormon and wives. That way you can see that the ideas are connected and related. Cohesion is the use of related word forms, which help the writer move smoothly from one idea to the next. The writer is able to keep the reader's focus on the main idea without repeating the same exact words again and again. For example, this sentence, other pregnant women believe that they are quite beautiful during pregnancy. Their beauty comes from the joy of becoming a mother. There is light in their eyes and their skin shines beautifully. So beautiful, beauty, beautifully, same word family, but a different part of speech. And by using these words, not exact word, but a different part of speech in a different form, it is all connected and it's easy for the reader to follow what the writer is talking about. It's not vague or unclear. Complete the paragraph with appropriate word forms. Choose words from the box. We've got court, courtship, marriage, married, romance, romantic, similar, similarity, tradition, and traditional. You're going to do numbers 1 until 10. You can pause your video. Go ahead. Okay, when you're writing your essay, make sure that it's cohesive. Yeah, that when in your writing, you're not jumping around, but it's clear and understandable what you're talking about. Remember also to use transition words, from body 1 to body 2, and if you have a body 3, and then a transition to your concluding paragraph. Write the final draft, and for the checklist, does your essay clearly describe the characteristics that you think are important in a spouse or partner? That's important. 2, does it contain an introductory paragraph, 2 or 3 body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph? 3, does the introductory paragraph contain a thesis statement stating the main idea of the essay? So we've got hot, hook, overview, and thesis. 4, does each body paragraph focus on one category of characteristics, one subtopic? So we have the topic, sentence, main point, explanation, main point, explanation, concluding sentence. Remember P and peel. Point, explanation, evidence, and linking back. 5, Does each body paragraph contain reasons and examples describing the importance of each characteristic? That's the appeal, the explanation. 6. Does the concluding paragraph restate the main idea expressed in the thesis statement? So we use summarize, conclude, review, or recommendation, in this case review, and then takeaway. 7. Does your essay use related word forms for cohesion? 8. Do you use definite and indefinite articles correctly? And 9. Do you use new vocab from the unit? Vocab and grammar. Awesome beans. Very good. Yeah, that's all for today. And that's also basically the end of our lesson. And what you have to really pay notice to. So remember, we reviewed the vocab, we reviewed how to use the words, and for grammar we looked at the definite and indefinite articles, so make sure you use those. For the writing, we went over the prep steps for your writing your essay, and to create cohesion by using the words with different word forms, in order to not repeat them, but to show connection and so the reader understands what we're talking about. Using a point-by-point paragraph means that the body paragraphs are divided by the sub-points or topics that you will talk about. The cohesion means the connecting of ideas, and the checklist. So good. Thank you very much for today. God bless you. You're amazing, and I will see you very soon. Bye. Thank you.